All right, so Christopher Steele, he's back to defend his dossier. You would think that after the Mueller team went through the phony dossier and found that the allegations in the dossier were in fact false, and Christopher Steele turns it around and says, well, no one's shown me evidence of being false. Well, if something didn't happen, there's not a lot of evidence to show that it didn't happen. There was no evidence that it did happen. The burden was on him. The burden is on the one making the allegations. George Stephanopoulos asked him, did your credibility get hurt by the fact that the FBI, Crossfire Hurricane, Mueller found that your report was not accurate? Take a listen, bite 4.
Do you think it hurts your credibility at all that you won't accept the findings of the FBI in this particular case?
I'm prepared to accept that not everything in the dossier is 100% accurate. I have yet to be convinced that that is one of them.
I mean, so there you go. That he's not convinced that you can't, that not everything in the dossier is 100% accurate. He says he'll accept that, but he has not yet been convinced that parts of it are still not accurate.
So I think if you look at the dossier carefully, if you look at the whole campaign to smear Donald Trump with collusion with Russia, this was always about the next election, in this particular case, the 2016 election. And what is hidden by the Steele dossier is the fact that the Hillary Clinton campaign, more likely than not, did in fact collude with the Russians in order to achieve victory. It turns out she achieved defeat. But if you look at the specific allegations in the dossier, questions remain unproven. So did Michael Cohen go to Prague? There's no evidence. Did Donald Trump engage in the salacious behavior alleged by the Steele dossier? There's no evidence. Did Christopher Steele fabricate the dossier? I think there's a mountain of evidence, including evidence that comes from the FBI.
Why is he resurfacing now after 5 years following all these allegations and all this activity? What is he doing? What is the reason for this? What is the reason that he has come back into the spotlight? And that brings up the question is, why is ABC News and Stephanopoulos giving him another platform to espouse and to spout off all his salacious rumors and all his ideas and the things that he said in the dossier? And it's, to me, another indication of an unprincipled power grab by the Democratic media.
The only thing I want to hear from Christopher Steele is an apology, because the fact is he knew, absolutely knew, that the information that he was presenting was baloney. And he knows that to be true, and yet his excuse is, well, in the intelligence field, we're never sure. But this was all about politics, a presidential race. He could have stopped it. He could have come clean early to say, hey, I was wrong. My sources were wrong. And he didn't. He allowed this whole abuse to happen. And I blame him. I blame him and his recklessness. And so the reemergence of him is really to try to rehabilitate him like the Washington types constantly do. He was useful for them, and so now they're going to try to rehabilitate him. But he should be run out of office, run out of town, and apologize for putting one over on so many people for so long.
I want our audience just to be watchful, because it's one thing if this is a Hulu documentary that kind of disappears into the universe of streaming information, that's one thing. But if this is that attempted, as we talked about, resurrection of the information and of Christopher Steele and of the allegations that were made, and they want to force President Trump to have to yet readdress them once again, even after the Mueller team with all their top prosecutors found nothing. No collusion, which was the whole basis of what the dossier was about. Take out the salacious stuff, which was also untrue and unfounded. The basis was, as Rick said, that Donald Trump was a Russian agent conspiring with Russia to win an election and then would be a Russian agent as president of the United States. Pretty hardcore stuff. Found all not to be true. So why are they resurrecting this guy?